Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for this chapter officer recruitment training that we have tonight planned for you. I will be speaking. My name is Isaiah Cochran. I'm the Vice President of Membership, and I'm also currently a third-year medical student at the Wright State University Boonshaw School of Medicine on my pediatrics rotation. Really enjoying that right now. There will also be two other people speaking, Yokaira and Bilal, and I'll let them do more introductions later. But the three of us this year, along with Rachel Glassford, the Chief Membership Officer, will be working with you all very intimately, along with the regional directors, to help you not only recruit members, but to engage them and keep them interested in AMSA, not only for this year, but hopefully for subsequent years. So again, I hope this PowerPoint is very helpful, and at the end of the PowerPoint and throughout the PowerPoint, we will be answering questions, so please feel free to type in the chat box if you want to ask any more about something. So I've already done the welcome, but the agenda for tonight, I'm going to start off with the AMSA history and AMSA where we're at today, and then we're going to move on into the fact that our members are the face of AMSA. This is something that we really stress and really want you all to understand. Then we're going to get a little bit into the nitty gritty of what it's like to be a chapter officer. Next, we're going to talk about membership and what is good for you all to know and what would also be good for you all to share with your members at your local chapters. Then we'll get into the member recruitment and engagement. And of course, that is something that is kind of the crux of this whole presentation. Then we'll explain a little bit about our national leadership setup and national committees and campaigns that we have. So that way, hopefully we can provide you all with some information that you might not have known that in regards to what AMSA National does. So maybe you could take some ideas from that, and then we will talk about our national events, for example, the National Convention. So first, I would like for you to sign in here if you haven't done this already. So just make sure you do this and fill it out as noted on this PowerPoint. I will leave this up for a couple seconds and then transition. Okay, so what are we expecting from you? So here at AMSA, we have a hashtag that we call FAMSA, and this is where we say, this is why we have come together as a community. This is not only us coming together as pre-medical, medical, and medical students, but it's also our chance to come together and work as advocates and activists and begin to form our career in medicine beyond the clinic. So being an advocate for our patients outside of the clinic. And this is a great opportunity to meet future physicians and people that you could potentially be working with in the future. It's a chance to share stories and ideas. It's a chance for chapter officers to share with other chapter officers what they do with their chapter, things that are successful and things that are not so successful. This is also a chance to identify resources that are available to you. I'm sure there are some things that you might not have known about. There are things that I learn about every year as I give this presentation and as I share things with you all. This is a chance for me to learn more about the national campaigns, and it's a chance for you all to learn about them as well. The way I look at this presentation between Yokaira and Bilal and I, the trio, the three of us are members of the Board of Trustees, and again, we help to engage you all. We are the three membership representatives on the Board of Trustees, and we all look at this as an opportunity to start building rapport with you all, a chance to start building our year with you all. So hopefully you can see us as a resource that you can always reach out to, and I will be providing my cell phone number to everyone, to all the medical chapter officers, because I believe that is the best way to contact me, and I also believe that way we can stay in good correspondence throughout the year. And again, I'm here to support you through your AMSA endeavors, and I hope that you feel support from others as well in the organization. So if you have questions, again, please refer to the chat box, as I've already mentioned. This will be a great resource for you. I would also like to say right now that If you at any point need to leave the presentation, that is okay. If there are other people that you know who would have liked to have been on this presentation but could not attend tonight, or if there are people that you meet in the future and they'd like to get some rundown, a good rundown of AMSA, this is a place to come and get that. So I'm saying this because this presentation will be recorded for you all to refer back to later. And I think Rachel will let you all know where that will be. Where the recording will be placed. So now it's time to get started to get into our presentation. And again, my name is Isaiah Cochran. I am the Vice President for Membership for the 2017-2018 academic school year. So let's go back in time a little bit. In the year 1950, AMSA was founded, and during that time, we all know it was a civil rights movement. And during this time, there was a lot of turmoil, and more people started feeling like they should have a voice. And we saw a similar occurrence in medicine. Back in the 1950s and even a bit after, we saw that medicine was dominated by white males. And what happened was that more people, females, African Americans, and the like, sought to have a voice in medicine. So AMSA gave students the opportunity to speak on things. So this is kind of how AMSA started, and this is why we are such advocates for change because of when we started. So I like to say that AMSA kind of has its roots in the civil rights movement, and that is why we are a progressive organization that not only seeks equality in healthcare for all, but we also seek equality in other endeavors as well. To give you all some more information on AMSA before I move forward, AMSA was originally named the Student American Medical Association, and then in 1975, the Student American Medical Association changed to what we know now as the American Medical Student Association. The, the Student American Medical Association was actually affiliated with the AMA, which I'm sure all of you are aware, but as they transitioned into AMSA and began speaking on their own, they no longer were affiliated with the AMA. So it is very important for you all to gather from this. If there's one thing I'd like for you all to take away is that we have no parent organization. We are not the little baby of AMA. We are our own organization that is run predominantly by students minus our staff members and our CEO. So I'd like for you all to keep that in mind because it is something that makes AMSA very unique. AMSA today. AMSA allows all of us to do very many things. As we see here in this photo, one of the best things and one of the things that always captivates me is being able to advocate on the Hill when we have our conventions in DC. So this is our chance for us to go to the Capitol building and to the Senate building and speak with representatives. Usually we don't get to speak with the senators, unfortunately, but this is our chance to speak with their representatives and still relay our message on issues such as student debt, such as women and child health, such as other medical issues. And this is something that really helps AMSA stand out from other organizations. So while students can definitely get involved in some things that AMSA offers in other organizations, they really don't have as much of a voice. And I feel like, and I will say through my now 7 years in AMSA, that AMSA really does have a voice at some of the biggest tables. And that's something that you need to keep in mind as you go through AMSA, and something that I would really like for you all to share with your members. So now I'm going to speak a little bit about the AMSA narrative. So sorry everyone, I'm going to speak a little bit about the AMSA narrative, and I'm going to just give you a little snippet of my AMSA narrative so you can kind of formulate a way how you could attract people when somebody comes to a recruitment fair table, let's say. So for me, AMSA was one of the catalysts that got me into medical school. I was involved in some prestigious research during my undergrad years, and I had a couple of publications, but I would say that during all of my medical school interviews, I was not asked once about my research publications or where I did my research. I was asked about my involvement in AMSA. And when they asked about my involvement in AMSA, when I said that I've had the opportunity not only to help fellow students become more involved with the organization, but when I described the organization in terms of being able to advocate on the Hill, being able to coordinate and work with people who are doing some very great things in healthcare. Some of the medical school interviewers were very taken aback in a good way. They didn't know this opportunity really wasn't out there. So yet again on the interview trail for med school, I was being an advocate for AMSA. So that's a little snippet of my AMSA narrative. But I always try to tell people who are in a leadership position in AMSA, be it a national leader or a chapter officer, it is really great to begin to formulate your AMSA narrative to try to attract others to the organization. So why AMSA? So I want to talk a little bit more than is on the slide now to kind of give you all some background into why I have this here. And this is also a great slide for me to stop and do a little plug for something that the trio and all of the regional directors will be working on this year. So last year we started something called the Why AMSA campaign, and I'm not going to say I started it. I did maybe come up with the Why AMSA, but I did speak, did have a lot of help from others. But we kind of felt like there was a disconnect between what was happening nationally and what was happening locally. We felt like in order to recruit more people to this wonderful organization that we needed to relay the information better. So this PowerPoint will kind of have a similar theme to a PowerPoint you will hopefully be listening to very soon in the coming months. And that PowerPoint will be entitled Why AMSA. But here we have a little slide. Why should you recruit someone to AMSA? Why should you yourself be a part of AMSA? I think I've touched on it a little bit earlier when I gave my little snippet of my AMSA narrative, but I want you to think about these. And I don't usually like to read off of a slide, but I'm going to do that here. What does AMSA mean to you? So why are you a part of AMSA? Are you a part of AMSA to have something on your resume to get into medical school? If you're a medical student, are you a part of AMSA because you believe in the advocacy, you believe in the equality that AMSA stands for, or are you a part of AMSA for the benefits that we will talk about later? Those are things you need to think of, so that way with your team at your school, you can think of ways to help attract more people. What makes AMSA special? I think I touched on it again. We're a student-run organization, and that's very important. One thing that I left out in the slide earlier about AMSA history is that we really have no, well, I shouldn't say we have no, I have to be emphatic about that. We have no connection with the pharmaceutical organization, so therefore we take no money from pharmaceutical companies. That is something else that you should really remember. And also I would like for you all to look into the Just Medicine campaign, because there you can learn more about that. How does AMSA help you succeed? Again, I kind of highlighted how it's helped me succeed, and I will say through medical school, it's been a break from the classroom, and now as a third-year student, I feel like I can start implementing a little bit more of what I've learned in AMSA. So it's a kind of a break, if you will, a reprieve. How can AMSA help other students on your campus? This is something that hopefully through the chat box and as we begin to go through this presentation more, that will be answered. How can you be a leader today at your AMSA chapter? And also, how can you take those skills that you have learned and be a leader out in the field of medicine? That is what AMSA truly stands for, empowering future physicians to do more than just to just be clinicians. And not that there's anything wrong. Of course, we all know that's just very difficult just getting to that point. But one thing that Vivek Murthy, the former Surgeon General, said when he spoke at the Boonshoff School of Medicine graduation this past school year, and when he came to National Convention for AMSA 3 years ago, he said one thing that I think many people will remember from both of those speeches is that as a physician, you are always going to be in a area where you will have a lot of respect. It is how you use that respect from people. You can use that to really make a change, or you can be stagnant. And the thing that we want to encourage you all to do in AMSA is to not be stagnant, but to step up and make a difference in a positive way. You are the face of AMSA. So again, why AMSA? I think I have kind of gone over this, so I'm not going to stay on this slide. I always get ahead of myself. I get so excited when I'm giving these presentations. This is my favorite part of having the position that I'm in. All the groundwork that we do for these things makes it very worthwhile to be able to speak to you all and show you how much I care about AMSA. Giving you a little bit more background, I joined AMSA as a freshman in undergrad, so like I said, I'm kind of on my 7th year now, and it's gone very fast. I can't believe I've been around AMSA that long. I still consider myself new to AMSA, but I realize now I can't quite say that. I'm kind of a veteran at this point. The AMSA narrative. Again, I've touched on this, so I'm going to leave this slide up for a few seconds and let you all peruse this, and then I'll move on. I think that we will be making these slides available to you. We will also be making the slides available to you when we do our Why AMSA campaign. So look out for emails that will be scheduling. We'll be asking you to schedule virtual chapter visits, because this is when you'll have the opportunity to hear a shortened, condensed version of this. And this Why AMSA PowerPoint will be more detailed into medical, pre-medical, or international, wherever whatever category you fall under. So up next is my friend Yakaira, the international trustee, and I'll pass it over to her.
Thank you, Isaiah. Hi, everyone. My name is Yokaira Camilla, but you guys can call me Yoka. I am the international trustee, and I'm currently living in the Dominican Republic doing my last year of med school. I go to a Caribbean medical school here called Universidad Iberoamericana UNIBE, and it's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm so glad that you guys were able to join us tonight. So I'm gonna start talking to you guys about what it is to be a chapter officer and what expectations we have from you guys. So you guys are the face of AMSA. You guys have to keep this in mind, that you guys are representing us. Your voice and any actions that you guys do in your chapters locally is something that is going to be representing AMSA in your local chapter and AMSA national as well. So you guys are expected to do recruitment and engagement with the local members, and this can be done in whatever way works best for your campus. If you guys have school fairs at the beginning of the semesters, or if you guys do your own social events separately. You also are expected to encourage local members to attend national events like the AMSA National Convention and the AMSA Fall Conferences and the AMSA Pre-Med Fest as well. And this is something that you guys should be able to give this information to all of your AMSA members and students that may be interested in becoming AMSA members throughout the year. Also, and focus on activities that are important to you and your chapter. Take a look at what's going on in your campus. Anything that you guys see that maybe students would be interested in being a part of, make sure you guys keep that in mind when you guys have activities for your chapter. Those kinds of things will get more interest from students to join AMSA in your chapter, and it will also give you guys that chance to create more impact in your community and in your school. Also, ensure that short-term and long-term success of your chapter. As you guys are chapter officers, keep in mind that next year there will be a new group of chapter officers coming in. So start looking into seeing like who could be that next president, that next vice president. Start chatting with them from the start, letting them know like what kind of things they could do and what kind of things they could get involved with if they want to become chapter president or chapter officer. And with short-term success, just make sure you guys, like one good way to keep that success going is having AMSA calendars available. Rachel has made available online the AMSA calendar, and you guys can put up there any events that you guys are doing in your campus, so that anybody that is going into the AMSA website, they can actually take a look at that. Always remain in contact with your AMSA national office. You guys have regional directors for each area, and you guys definitely should always keep in contact with them, update them on whatever events you guys are having, whatever question or suggestions you guys may have. Always feel open to talk to either any of the membership trio, Isaiah, myself, or Bilal, or your regional director. Also, just keep in mind the chapter spotlight. If whatever awesome events that you guys are having, we want to know about it. So we want to just make sure you guys like send that in to us on the AMSA website, and like so we can post them on the chapter spotlight every month. Now, okay, can you guys see me? Okay. My bad, guys. The sharing process is technical difficulties. So hopefully you guys were able to hear everything I've said. Now, to continue, why is this all important for you guys as chapter officers? You guys have to keep in mind, you guys are the voice and the face of AMSA. And how are you guys going to do this? This is pretty much like a learning process. You guys will be able to see what works best in your campus and what doesn't, and just kind of like a trial and error, and just always work hard and figure out what you can do to improve your chapter, to improve your campus, and just to make AMSA locally better and more attractive for the students and the members. And what resources are available to you guys, that is actually something that, we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be letting you guys know about all the resources and giving you guys all the information necessary for you guys to be able to recruit members and give that exposure of AMSA to the members. So now we're going to continue with leadership support, and I'm going to be introducing below the PreMedical trustee. He's going to continue on with the presentation.
All right, can everybody hear and see me okay? Beautiful, awesome. So my name is Bilal, and I'm your guys' pre-medical trustee for this year. I recently graduated from ASU, and I'm currently in my gap year, and this is my second year actually as pre-med trustee, so I have the privilege of doing that, and very excited to be here, and I hope you guys are all excited too. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys just a little bit more about how National AMSA leadership is structured. And it's very important to understand the structure of AMSA leadership to really understand how it functions as a whole. Oftentimes, local AMSA members and chapter officers, they're sometimes confused with regards to how the organization itself is set up. So hopefully, I can clarify for you guys a little bit here today. So overall, our structure is National AMSA falls into five compartments, and you have your board of trustees, your regional directors, your action committee and team chairs, your local chapter officers, and your staff. So often, when we look at an organization, we automatically assume that the board of trustees is kind of on the top of the celebrities, the George Clooney's of the organization, but that's simply not true. In fact, it is you guys who are the George Clooney's of our organization, our local members, our local chapter officers. You guys are really what moves AMSA forward. But to tell you guys a little bit about more of the board of trustees, what we do is that we really govern and oversee the operations of the organization itself. We're responsible for coming to overall decisions that ultimately will affect how the organization is run. And we also ensure the implementation of policies that have been determined by the House of Delegates. And all in all, we're composed of 12 awesome, wonderful members, all of which reflect different components of AMSA. So the second thing we got are our regional directors, and these guys are very important because these guys are basically your main point of contact as local chapter officers. Don't get me wrong, you are more than welcome to and very much encouraged to reach out to anybody on AMSA staff or leadership. But with regards to your local chapter operations, your regional directors will be able to help you out the most. So they're there to help you out on kind of a daily basis, and they're there to build relationships with you guys and to make sure that your chapter is running smoothly and sustainable. So basically with your regional directors, if you ever feel lost and you're just not sure what to do, contact your regional director. They will be happy to assist you on getting back on the right track. And if you need anything, really brainstorming ideas for your local AMSA meetings, contact your RDs. Again, they're more than happy to help. And even if you are doing very successful in your chapter, still reach out to your regional director to share your success. We're here for you all, and we're eager to hear about your hard work in promoting AMSA and what it stands for on a local level. So with regards to our action committee and team chairs, this is the part of AMSA which has been referred to really as like the heart and soul of AMSA. There are a total of 9 action committees that represent what AMSA feels all future and current physicians should value in order to be responsible healers. And the chairs and coordinators in each action committee plan and implement programming on their local level. So if you are a local member and you have an interest that lies in one of these committees, you can get involved, and you can ultimately work with these committees to make a change on not just a local level, but a national one. Um, Ali Bukhari, he's our awesome VPPD, our Vice President of Programming. He works closely with these action committees, and yeah, so we'll be talking a little bit more about this kind of later in the presentation. And the next one is our local chapter officers, which is personally my favorite part of AMSA, which are you guys. And basically, what you guys are the backbone of AMSA. Plain and simple. You guys are what make AMSA work. And by continuing your efforts on a local level, you're promoting AMSA and what it stands for, and helping us thrive and continue to exist as an organization. And really through your efforts in interacting with our local members, that's how we continue again to exist. So just a shout out to you guys. Big thank you, thank you. With regards to our staff, we have our incredible staff. Our staff are so and so incredible. Rachel is one of our staff, and she's in charge of all membership, and she's just awesome. Anything that we need to make happen, AMSA staff works their hardest to make sure it's done, and they are working 8 to 5 to make sure that this organization runs smoothly. And as for us, we're students, so we have this additional privilege that we carry as leaders. But staff, they are just working all the time, 8 to 5, and even after 5. Yeah, that's kind of a little bit about our leadership structure, and moving on to how our regions are set up. So in the United States, we have set up, we've separated our membership into 5 regions. We've got, 5 domestic regions in the U.S., and then we have 2 international regions. And in total, there are 20 regional directors for the medical chapters. We've got 12 regional directors. For pre-meds, we got 5, and for international, we've got 3. So up next, I'm going to let my friend Isaiah go ahead and tell you guys a little bit more about the membership need to know and benefits. And I will pass it on to you, Isaiah.
Okay, everyone, it's nice to be back. So as Bilal said, I will be talking about the needs to know, so the most pertinent information and the benefits. So if I was you, if you have a recruitment fair coming up soon, take some notes on this. So when people ask you what are things that AMSA can provide to you, this part will allow you to do that. So, and also here I'll be talking a little bit more about our chapters and getting more into detail about our chapters as well. And to kind of give you some light as to where we're at right now in AMSA so you all can help us out recruit some more people to our organization. So first off, membership dues. This is very important for you all to know. Look at the slide, take it in. Pre-medical students 75, domestic med students 75, and international med students 75. So probably for all of you on the call right now, you're going to be paying that 75, or you're going to be talking to the potential members about the $75 fee. Now, what I always like to explain to people is this is $75 for at least 4 years. Sometimes sometimes we will grant you the ability to pay that 75, and if you go a little bit longer, so if your pre-medical career is longer, if your medical career is longer, say MD, PhD, or MD, MPH, MD, MBA, you don't have to repay. So it's that one-time $75 to be a member at whatever level of education you are at. So please keep that in mind. So what $75 is a lot. I've kind of talked about this. As I said, I always jump ahead of myself. I've done this so many times. I apologize for that. But yes, 75 at one time might seem like a lot, but also I know pre-medical students, I know medical students, I know what else we like to do with money. So, keep in mind this is for a good thing, and you will definitely get a lot out of this. So let's talk a little bit about some tangible things that you get out from AMSA, that you get from AMSA. You get a welcome gift, and this is forever changing. And actually, one thing I thought of, we're always giving ideas to the staff, but I would actually really, really love it if you would be able to give us ideas when you're corresponding with your regional directors, when you're corresponding with myself and the other members of the trio, your Kyra and Bilal, who you've just heard from. Please tell them, hey, would you all be able to maybe get us something that's here or there? Because maybe we could look into doing that. Because one thing we want to do is provide something to you all that you all find beneficial. And we don't always know. I'm a student as well, but now that I'm into my third year, I still know what's kind of hot for your first 2 years, but as I move on, I might not know as much. So please always feel the need to always feel free to share with us information that you may have. I also want to do a plug for the New Physician magazine. You all will learn more about this when we do our AMSA presentations for you on those virtual chapter visits that I will continue to mention throughout this whole PowerPoint. Make sure to sign up for those virtual chapter visits when we send out those emails. Please, please. So the New Physician is the AMSA magazine. This is the magazine where a lot of our members, our national officers, our president writes notes into, not only notes, but very interesting articles. And we have people put articles in there that really are captivating. And it's so great to hear from other students. Always hearing from people who are, already in the field. It's nice to hear from them, but hearing from students, hearing from a resident, that is very captivating to me. And one thing I want to encourage you all to do is to encourage your members. Please take notes, encourage your members, and also to you. You can submit an article to the magazine, to the New Physician magazine. Rachel, would you be willing to put in the email that or whom they should reach out to? I know that TJ is one person they could reach out to, but I'd really like for them to be able to get in contact with people who are over the New Physician magazine. I think it's very, very important. And then also the action committees that Bilal spoke about. This is a chance for you to get involved in the programming of AMSA. And as long as I'm in AMSA and as long as you speak with me, you will hear me talk about the action committees as the voice of AMSA. Without the action committees, to me, there would be no AMSA. Excuse me. And then a little bit about the intangibles. As you can see, for me, being a leader has been a great experience. So leadership is open to everyone. And later on in the presentation, we'll talk about the House of Delegates and the national elections and how you can get involved, how you can be voted upon. And I also encourage you all when you come to National Convention this year, because I expect every one of you on here to come to National Convention, please get involved with the voting process because that's very important to the organization. We need the voting, and we also want you running for these positions. So through the year, we'll be letting you all know about the positions, but also you can do a little bit of investigating on your own. I know all of you are pretty good students, so I know you all have the ability to go on and search for stuff and go on the AMSA website and look up national leadership because I really think it will behoove you, and I really think you would enjoy the experience. This is also a chance, as I've stated, for advocacy, for activism, and for public service. So I've highlighted a little bit about what we do on Capitol Hill. There are campaigns such as the AIDS Advocacy Network. One of our other campaigns is the Just Medicine campaign revolves around us taking no money from pharmaceutical companies. I would ask for you to look more into that. And this is, again, intangibles, right? This is a chance for you to build a career that is more than just being a clinician. For me, I know that one day I want to get involved with global health and global health in the sense of, yes, I want to do things in underserved and underprivileged communities in the United States, but I'd also like to have the opportunity to do so in other countries as well. So I feel like AMSA has provided me the opportunity to do that. So this slide, I hate to say one slide is more important than another, but I'm going to say it. I think this slide might be one of the most, or if not the most important slide. And if you don't get anything out of this presentation, please get this out of the presentation, chapter officers. You cannot just become a local member. So if you are charging local membership dues, okay, that's up to you. But members must also join national to be considered an AMSA member. If they do not join AMSA National, then we have no documentation that they are an AMSA leader or an AMSA member. So I want to give you all an example. Let's say that one of your members, it might not be an executive board member, but let's say one of your members is on a committee, leads a committee, puts on this great fundraiser, does this great thing at your school, it has such a success. and then they put that on their resume. And then the medical school that they have applied to, or the residency, or whomever, uh, contacts national AMSA, and they say, hey, do you know, is so and so a member? We just want to confirm. And this can potentially happen, so be aware of this, and please be taking notes on what I'm saying here. If they do that, if they reach out and contact us and we say no, there we don't have documentation of this person was never an AMSA member, then that's fraud. That looks like the person is a liar. And all along, it could have been that they didn't know that they needed to join AMSA National. So it is your role as a chapter officer to relay that information to them. So much like the regional directors are liaisons between national AMSA and local AMSA, you are also a liaison between national AMSA and local AMSA. So one of your duties this year as a chapter officer needs to be keeping up with the latest information from national AMSA. So that involves reaching out to your regional director. And on the medical side, we have 12 regional directors. And the reason that we have 12 regional directors for 5 regions is so that our regional directors can be more intimate with their chapters. So they get to know you all, so you all get to know them, and you feel comfortable reaching out to them. So by the end of the year, you should know your regional director or me very well. You're gonna know one of us very well. So I can bet you that. So you can count on that. So chapter rebates. So how do the first thing is, I think we have all this information on here. So please read this as I'm speaking. I'll go through it, but I also want to let you all know that it is very important to be in good standing. This is one reason. So whenever a member, and whenever you recruit someone and you get them to join National AMSA, they pay that $75. I always well, since we've started these chapter rebates, I always like to say, hey, you know what? You're paying $75, but if you really think about it, it's only sorry, $60, because when you're doing that, the thing is, what ends up happening is the chapter is getting that money back. And when that chapter gets that money back, I guarantee you it's going to something that will be used for you. Maybe food, maybe bringing in a speaker, maybe something like that. But the money is going to go back towards you. So really, this is a discount in of itself. Please, please make sure to mention this chapter rebate when you're recruiting. This will be included in the Why AMSA PowerPoint as well. So it'll be another opportunity for you all to hear this, and also a chance for the members to hear this. So again, back to Why AMSA. I told you I was going to be tying that in as much as I could. Please try to schedule that maybe for your very first kickoff meeting, maybe your first e-board meeting, so you all can, so at least there'll be a group of people there who are hearing it, because I know, we all hear different things, we all, remember different things. So please keep this in mind again. So payments, these chapter rebates will be made back to the chapters in August and in January. Again, August and in January. So for the August payment, it'll be for new members who were recruited from January to July. And then in January, which I suspect will probably be a bigger rebate for you all, is from August to December. The reason I say that January will probably be a bigger rebate is because typically our our peak recruitment months are in August, September, and October. So look for those rebates to be bigger in January. Payments, as you can see, will be made by check and mailed to whatever address you specify. And this is something that should also be noted, and I should have highlighted this in bold. Rebates expire if a chapter is not in good standing. So I'm probably going to forget something, and this is my second year as being vice president of membership, and I've been in membership for a while, so I shouldn't say I'm going to forget something, but in terms of what it needs to be in good standing, but I always do. But good standing, you need to have 5 members who are part of national AMSA. So that means 5 people who have joined national AMSA. You also need to have sent in an updated chapter officer list. So whenever you have your elections, whenever you have your transition, you must update us, because what the problem is you change, you transition, and we don't have that information, and then the RDs, myself, and Rachel spend a lot of time just trying to get that information, and we're not able to reach out to you, we're not able to share wonderful ideas with you, and then we find ourselves between a rock and a hard place. And then lastly, what you will need to be a chapter of good standing is to attend core. So those of you that are on this call now, you're good to go. But I encourage you all, if you have friends at other chapters and they weren't able to make it, or if you know of other people who would like to attend this, as I've said, core is required to have a chapter of good standing. And so that's why we record this, so that way people who cannot attend on the day can listen to it later and then fill out a questionnaire that we have confirming that they have in fact listened to the core presentation. So again, you need to have 5 people who are part of National AMSA. You need to have submitted your chapter officer information, updated chapter officer information, and lastly, you need to have attended this core training either on the day that it occurred, which is today, or you need to listen to the recording and fill out a questionnaire. Now, anyone from the chapter, you could have an executive officer do it. You could even have a member who volunteers and says, hey, that's the job I want to take on for right now. Let me listen to the core and I'll fill it out, as long as your chapter has successfully completed the training. And if you have any more questions about that, please type it in the chat that we have going on. So AMSA has over 600 chartered chapters. Okay, so that's chartered. That's the amount of chapters that have, in fact, at one point had an AMSA chapter. But the problem is that not all of them, the majority of them right now are not in good standing. Sometimes this is due to not having uh, done the updated chapter officer information. What I found is that ends up being the issue most of the time, or completing the chapter officer training. There's sometimes where we've had very robust chapters that are doing very amazing programming. They're definitely active. They're definitely functioning, but they just haven't updated us. So they definitely meet the 5 national members, not 5 local members. Everyone, 5 national members. So some member benefits. There's supposed to be a Geico symbol there. I don't know where it went, but anyways, we have an amazing partnership with the Bank of America. They've been a very loyal partner over the years for us, and I encourage you, and I encourage myself to get the Bank of America credit card. This is a great opportunity to earn cash back, and also to have money go towards AMSA. And it's also an opportunity to for those students. I know a lot of us are still trying to build credit, and this is a great way to have a dependable credit card and dependable credit card company that is almost anywhere in, or is anywhere in the United States. So please keep this in mind. This is again one of our most loyal partners. Then the Geico is also one of our loyal partners, and I would ask for you all to not only learn more about these 2 benefits that we have, but look more at some of the other benefits that we have on our national page, because what I would like to do is potentially, or not potentially, at some point craft something that's craft a document for you all, not just a few of the member benefits, but craft something for you all that highlights all of the benefits, so you all know every little detail. And again, as I said, every year I'm still learning more about everything. There's so much that AMSA has to offer, and I'm doing my best to make sure that I'm up to date on everything as well. So this is something that might be more appealing to those medical students who are into their clerkship years. So the M3s and M4s. Up to Date is a resource that many schools do provide free access to. This is where you can get up-to-date information on many different medical diseases, journal articles, medications, many things like that. And it's something that many students do use on the wards and clerkships, and this is something that I encourage you all to look into purchasing if you do not have the access through your medical school. I am aware that many medical schools, and if not the medical schools, many of the clinics or hospitals that you will be at do provide access for their residents and their medical students, and of course their physicians for up to date. We also have a very good partnership, medical member benefits I'm still talking about. We also have a great partnership with Walters Kluwer, and I have to give a shout out to them because they always are so good to us. And Walters Kluwer and their discounts on Lippincott. So for those of you in medical school, I know that Lippincott has a plethora of textbooks that many people do use, and I encourage you all, if you want to purchase a textbook to look into your member benefits in AMSA. So before you buy, I have a rule of thumb. Before I buy anything in medical school, I make sure that I look to see if AMSA has a partnership with that company that I'm going to be potentially buying from. And lastly, Becker is one of our partners who helps with a USMLE prep. So again, please look into Becker because I've heard it's a great resource. I myself did not use it to study for STEP, but I've heard that it was a great resource, so I encourage you all to look into that. Rachel, correct me if I am wrong. But I know at one point that we had, and I still think we do because they were just at this year's 2017 convention in DC. We have a partnership with Firecracker. I want to give them a shout out. I did not use them for STEP either, but I've heard very, very, very good information to. I've heard very, very good information about Firecracker, and I encourage you all to look into that. And that is for the MCAT as well as for STEP, I think. But I know it's for STEP for sure. So I jumped ahead of myself, like I keep saying I always will. There you see Firecracker, and Team is another partner that we have. They make a lot of textbooks as well. So again, you can see that you will have a very nice partnership, or very nice discount as well. Exam Guru is something that some people use for shelves, so I encourage you all to look into that. So everything I highlighted on here is just to give you all some information. I've had no personal experience with the Exam Guru, but I have used a couple books from the team publishers, and I did not use Firecracker for STEP, but I did use Firecracker a bit throughout the year, and I did enjoy using it. So I would encourage it to you all, especially if you like flashcards. So here are some more member benefits. Because of time, I'm not going to belabor these. I will encourage you all, if you have more questions, I provided my email. You can ask me more specific questions about these. I'm going to provide my email again as soon as I finish talking. So if you want to reach out to me, just say, oh, Isaiah, I want to talk to you more about member benefits, especially for the medical students. If you don't want to ask me, you can reach out to your regional director as well. So again, I'm going to keep moving through this for the sake of time. Again, I would like to go into more detail about this off the PowerPoint, but one thing I will say is the medical store is a great chance for you to do a fundraiser and a chance for you to bring the medical store, if it doesn't always already happen, to your academic uh, institution. And again, this is for medical students more so. So here at the, excuse me, here at the Boonshoff School of Medicine, we do have the medical store come out every year, and we partner with them. And this ends up being they they will buy pizza for us, so people will have pizza as they go out and get ready to spend money on their medical supplies. And it's also a great opportunity for us to do uh, selling of the organization of AMSA. So they sometimes, when we're doing this, we'll have a big sign saying AMSA is putting on the medical student store again, free pizza and all of the get all of your supplies for your introduction to clinical medicine courses, which is a course that we have here. I know they have them all over at around the country, but this is our intro to clinical medicine course we have here, and we kind of use that as a chance to get our name out there, and we'll be doing that once again this year. So I do encourage you all to get involved with the medical store. If you have questions on how to get in contact with them, again, you can email me or you can ask one of your regional directors. So I get to talk a little bit about our the pre-medical side of things. So I was pre-medical trustee for years. So I had the role that Bilal had about 3 years ago, and I will say that I will always have a place in my heart for pre-medical members and the pre-medical side of AMSA because I came up through it. I experienced. I was also a pre-medical regional director, so I did all of it, and I did use the Kaplan test prep for my MCAT examination, and I will say that it did pay off when I used it correctly the second time around. It definitely was worthwhile to use. So I would definitely look into using this. If you have more questions, again, you can direct them to me, the Vice President of Membership, or you pre-medical students, you can direct them to Bilal, and I know he would appreciate it if you asked him about that. I know that I used it. I don't recall if he used it or not. He can let you know in the chat box, but I know that I've had a good experience with that. Now, I didn't take the new MCAT. Bilal did, so maybe he would be able to give you a little bit better information on how Kaplan is now. So, what are the latest AMSA perks? And you saw me smile. I do smile a lot, but these I really smile about these because this is something very new. AMSA AMP is new, and AMSA mentorship program is even newer. So, first off, AMSA AMP. What is this? This is a great opportunity for you all. It's almost like our session that we hold at National Convention for the pre-med to interview like a ninja for medical school, but this is an AMSA AMP, and this is something that allows you to, throughout the whole year, work with one of our staff members on how to not only personalize your ERAS application, that's the application that you use to apply to residencies. It's also a chance for you to formulate a very compelling and a very strong and a very grammatically strong, because I know sometimes those of us that are so scientifically oriented, we don't necessarily have the best grammar always, and we want to make sure that we can also write professionally as well. So they also help with that. And lastly, it's a great chance to learn more about interviewing skills. And I know at this point, most of us have gone on job interviews, and those of us in med school have done medical school interviews, but it's never hurts to take an opportunity and see what someone who has worked with people and helped them on the track before I get there. So I really encourage you all to look into this. It is a great opportunity, especially for you M4s. It's also a great opportunity for M3s to start thinking about. So if you look into it more, you can kind of put that on your budget list. Uh, Now on to the next thing, which I am very excited about, is the AMSA mentorship program. So one thing that we have continued to seek to, one thing that we are always seeking to do is reaching out to our medical members and making them feel like we are doing something for them to help them get on to residency. AMSA AMP was phase one in my opinion, but the mentorship program just takes it to the next level. This is an opportunity for you all to get in contact with physicians who are in the field that you are interested in going into, a field that you have shown interest in. And it's not only a chance for you to meet up with them based on medical interests, it's also an opportunity for you all to meet up with them and speak with them. When I say meet up, I mean virtually meet up with them and talk to them about other interests that you might have. So this matching process that we kind of have is beyond just medical interests. We try to match you up based on other interests as well. So a good example I can give you is I know you all might have mentorship programs at your school, but I think it would be great to have a mentor who's gone through AMSA. That would be really unique because a lot of our mentors end up, having what I keep saying, that experience outside of the clinic. So if that's what you seek to do, this is the type of person that you want to be in contact with. And also they can answer your questions about, in this specialty, what's it like having a family and things like that. The questions that, we all do wonder about as we get closer to applying for residency. So please keep these in mind. So I know I've told you all to take down notes, and I think that if you are looking to recruit people at your medical school who are not necessarily new to your medical school, if you're looking to recruit those who are on the wards, I know they don't always come back for everything, but if they do, you never know. This is a chance to reach out to them. AMSA AMP and that AMSA mentorship program. You never know who you might attract, and I'm going to really be pushing the RDs to really push you all, the chapter officers, to really engage people and get them involved in this programming that we have. So again, I've talked about member benefits. I think Rachel might have already posted in the chat box about our member benefits section. If she hasn't, I will do that as soon as I am finished talking. So again, before I transition over to Yokaira, you can always reach out to me. I want you to know that this is, along with, of course, being a student, this AMSA role is a number two on my list for what I'm doing this year. So I am making myself available to all of you. I will speak. I will speak. I'll put in the chat box my email and my phone number again, so that way you can reach out to me when you have questions. I would like to pass it over to Yokara. I see that they want me to mention something, but I'm gonna pass it over to Yokara and let her do that, so I can get a drink of water, and I will be back in a little bit. Thank you.
Hello again. So now we're going to be speaking about recruitment and engagement. And something that we did want to mention that it's honestly one of my favorite things that AMSA right now has available for students is BetterHelp. This professional online counseling for you guys. You know, as you guys know, there's a lot of things going on right now, like with mental health and how it's so important for us to keep that in mind, how we have to stay healthy with our emotions and with our thoughts and just mentally be able to be balanced out for us to do our activities on our day to day. Especially for us as med students and pre-med students, sometimes we get so caught up in everything we have to do, we forget about taking care of our mind and taking care of ourselves. So AMSA has partnered up with BetterHelp, and they give us 28 days of unlimited professional online counseling for AMSA members. So you guys can have that for 28 days. Check it out. If you guys are ever feeling any way, or if you guys know someone who may need something like this, you guys can actually make that available to them. So now to talk about recruitment and engagement, like Isaiah said in the start, this is something super important. Like you guys as chapter officers are in charge of being able to recruit these members and give that exposure of AMSA to the members. And for this, you kind of have to know how to give this information and how to make it interesting for them to be interested in being a part of AMSA. So the recruitment tools that AMSA has available, AMSA makes available these flyers and videos and brochures online that you guys can download or print and have them out for your recruitment events. Something that you guys can definitely like take into account is that you guys can create your own videos, for example, in your campus of something that you guys think that will specifically be more of interest for the students in your campus. If advocacy is really big in your school, you guys can definitely promote that more than the scholarship program, the scholar programs and things of that sort. So definitely keep in mind like what would work best in your chapter. I know, for example, in my chapter, we have been able to do some videos of the health fairs that we do or induction ceremonies that we do that we'll talk about a little bit later. And they are honestly really awesome. They, like if you guys look for someone, a student that is very interested in, for example, public relations, that they're really good at making videos and they love doing that, you guys can get them to go to the events, make these awesome videos, and it will definitely give your chapter just that extra oomph and make the students be a little more interested, like seeing the awesome things that you guys are doing locally. And those videos can also be promoted in the Facebook pages, and AMSA National can also promote them so that everyone can see what you guys are doing. Now, for chapter rebate program, as I already mentioned, you guys earn the $15 for every new member. You guys can use that for your recruitment event for whatever activity that you guys think is important. If you guys are in good standing, you guys have the chapter rebates, but I'm not going to go into that. As I already mentioned all that stuff. Just keep in mind, guys, that like this is something that it's available for you guys online, but you guys as well have to get creative within your chapter and see what would work best. So member recruitment dues, right? Like you guys have to remember to be inviting, to be knowledgeable about AMSA, and to be a good listener. I think that it sometimes is very difficult to get students interested in AMSA just because maybe, they don't see the awesomeness that, you guys see as chapter officers. And I think there are three key things that you guys have to keep in mind to get this interest from the students. Because many times they actually would be interested, they just don't really know about it, or you know, it hasn't been exposed to them correctly. So the first thing you guys have to keep in mind is exposure, right? You guys have to know what opportunities and benefits AMSA has for their members. This information should be available for the students in your campus. And this is something that you guys will be learning about today. You guys learn about all these different benefits that AMSA has. You guys are going to know about the action committees and teams, the scholar programs. This is information that you guys as chapter officers are responsible to know so that you can give this information to the students that are interested in joining AMSA and to the AMSA members that are already in AMSA so they can engage more within the chapter. You have to look into keeping in mind like the new update benefits by going into the AMSA website or being a part of the chapter, the Facebook page of the chapter officers. And we will be talking about the social media available at the end of the course. So the second important thing that you guys have to keep in mind is that personal narrative that I was talking about. I think that's one of the things that gets students mostly interested in. The way that we talk about like what we're interested in, what really drove us to join AMSA, many times is what gets other people interested to join. There's nothing like talking about what you're passionate about, right? So there's this phrase that I came upon not too long ago. By doing what you love, you inspire and awake the hearts of others. And I think this, complements perfectly in that idea. If you're interested in something specifically of AMSA and that's why you got involved and you became a chapter officer, talk about that to the students and they will, see that, like they'll see that fire in your eyes. They'll be like, wow, like, this person really loves AMSA. They love what they're doing over there. Let me check it out. And they'll actually get more interested and want to know more about it. Another thing that you guys have to keep in mind, which is the third thing, is talking about what they would be interested in, right? AMSA has a lot of really awesome things that you can get involved in. And you don't really have time to talk about all of them to a student. Maybe you have like a minute or two talking to somebody about what AMSA is, right? So a good way to get their attention is asking them first what they're interested in. Maybe they're interested in for example, topics related to gender and sexuality. That's something they're really passionate about. You guys can talk to them about the Gender and Sexuality Action Committee. You guys can talk to them about the Sexual Health Leadership course that AMSA has for them. Those things will be more of interest to them than the other things that AMSA has available. So they will listen to you. They will be more willing to listen to you and more willing to go and look into it after they're done talking to you. And for you to be able to talk to them about these specific interests, you guys have to know about this information. So always keep that in mind. Always stay updated with all the different things that, for example, the mentorship program, that's super awesome and something that maybe many students don't know about yet. But you guys as chapter officers have the ability to be able to give all this information and make your chapters exposed to all this. Now, when it comes to engagement, just the most important there is exposure, right? When you guys have meetings with your members, when you guys send out emails to your members, let them know what's going on in AMSA National. Let them know the awesome things that are going on. Get in contact with your regional directors. They will tell you what's going on. Whatever information you guys may need from us, you guys can always contact us and we'll try and make that available to you. So always, like I said, keep in mind what is AMSA in general, right? That's something that we all should know. And it's something for you guys to start with is AMSA is the largest and oldest independent association of physicians in training in the U.S. And something that catches many people's attention is that it's student governed. We have our PPP, our principles, preambles, and purposes, and our constitution and bylaws, and that was made by students for the students to be able to speak out for whatever they believe is right. There's no influence from anything out there for us to be able to fight and go to Capitol Hill. So definitely keep these kinds of things in mind and just remember your own passion for it. And if you guys keep in mind those three things, you guys will definitely be able to do a good job and with recruitment within your chapter. So a great way to increase that AMSA spirit would be to have induction ceremonies, right? This is something that we've been doing in chapters in Dominican Republic, AMSA INTEC and AMSA UNIBE, have held events like this. And it really helps increase that like professionalism and that introduction for them to be a part of AMSA. After they join AMSA, like the way it usually works, they join AMSA and you let them know, okay, we're going to be having an induction ceremony and you guys are invited to it. You will be, formally inducted. You guys come nicely dressed or however you guys want to do it, whatever works best with your chapter. You guys can have an inductee box with an AMSA polo, an AMSA pin, a certificate of membership, or whatever else. And have this really nice event, formal. We have a dialogue for the AMSA induction that we can make available to you guys. And you guys can use this as, an example. And it's just a great way for you guys to just really get the students interested and, get to know each other, really like find out who are the new members and meeting new friends and really feeling that like FAMSA vibe. So if you guys are interested in holding an induction ceremony, you can speak to any of your regional directors or any of us. You can email me to the international.trustee@amsa.org, and I can guide you on everything. We've been able to do many events of these, so we know what works best and what doesn't, and we can definitely guide you on that. So up next, we're going to be talking about running effective meetings and local programming. So I'll let Bilal take over.
All right. Hello again. Thank you very much, Yokaira. That was awesome. And yeah, so I'll be telling you guys a little bit more just about running effective meetings and a little bit about local programming. So the first thing we got is to run your meetings effectively. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you market your meetings effectively. So you can reach your audience through a variety of ways. You can post flyers around campus. You can leave them at your school's information desk. Ask smaller, lab science professors to ask if you can kind of leave them around for students, or even wait outside science lectures to pass them out to students. That's one thing I did, and that was very effective. You can post announcements through school newsletters, and this is very helpful too because if a student is kind of linked in with a certain department and they're getting kind of updates from them, then if you have your little small blurb in their newsletter, then it'll get automatically fed into their email, and you can get your message across, and you can market your meeting this way as well. Another thing is school listservs, and this is kind of a similar kind of notion. With like the same thing with school newsletters is that these things are going to get fed into your potential members' emails, so that they can get the message of your local chapter through here. Another thing that may seem a little bit intimidating to some people, especially if you have a larger school, is to ask your professors to be able to give a small, short 2-minute kind of rundown to your science lecture. If you have a general chemistry, general bio, these science classes that are probably filled up with a lot of pre-meds or meds, where you can kind of talk about your local AMSA meeting that's coming up and tell them a little bit about more what your goals are and what you guys hope to accomplish. And this is also very effective. We did this at our local chapter at ASU, and it helped so much for our first meeting. Another really big thing is that when before schools are starting up or as they're starting up, the semester, people they tend to have a kind of a tabling event for incoming freshmen or incoming students, where they have all the student organizations that are there for campus. For ASU, we had passports at ASU, and when we tabled through that also helped us get a lot of interest, and it's a great way to get people's contact information as they're coming. They sign up, and then you can get them on your own type of server where you can send out emails and updates their emails specifically. So that's very, very effective too. With regards to the last thing is that we can do to help you kind of market effectively is social media, and social media is very powerful, as we all know. And so creating your own group as for your local chapter will very much help you stay organized, and it'll help you market your events in the sense that you can plan ahead, you can post ahead, you can kind of amp up the event a little bit more through social media, and so that's very much helpful. And one thing that we did at our ASU chapter is that we would post on other pre-med chapters, or and you can apply this with your medical students as well. After getting their permission to kind of like give them some interest about AMSA, and then in exchange, they can kind of plug in their organization too. But that's social media is a very good way to market your meeting effectively. The second thing is just to kind of keep it organized, making sure that you have an agenda so that you know what's going to be discussed and covered during the meeting. And ultimately this is going to help you run your meetings a lot more smoothly. Third way is just to have a way to track attendees, and this will help you because if you are a local chapter that kind of awards hours, then it'll help you kind of keep track of who's being active, and it'll also give you an idea of who's potential for leadership on your local and also national level. Other thing is to start and end on time. This is very important because you do want to show that you value your members' time, and because a lot of your members, they'll have things to do, a lot of things to do, including yourself, and it'll give them the comfort and ability to commit to meetings if they can fit it in their schedule reliably. And also, it just encourages attendance. You wouldn't want to go to a meeting that's supposed to end at 9, but then it ends at 10:30, and you're still there, and you got the rest of your stuff to do. So just that aspect of timing is also very, very important. The last thing is that you want to make sure that you have relevant speakers, and you will want to try to gauge what your audience wants, what your local membership wants. For example, our chapter, they like to bring in physicians to come speak at our meetings. So to gauge our members, what we do, we try to find out what fields of medicine that they're most interested in. So for example, if there's a very, very big interest in ER, then we try to look to seek out an ER doc. And so the ways you can kind of gauge this interest is that you can post a survey to your local chapter Facebook group once you get it started, or also on the first meeting you can even hand out like a pre-survey type of thing to understand what it is that local members would potentially want to hear about. So those are all great ways to run your meetings effectively. So to raise money, we had so we have you take advantage of the AMSA rebate plan, and Isaiah talked about this a little bit more in depth, but essentially what it is that again, for every domestic pre-med or international student, you get X amount of money back, and this will help you fund your local chapter as you recruit for national membership. And again, your rebates are paid to you guys twice a year, once in August and once in January. The second thing you can do, which I wish I knew more about, and I wish I knew I took advantage of when I was a local chapter officer, is to kind of ask your student government and dean for support. They are very, very helpful. And maybe it's different, across schools depending on your school's financial situation, but just reach out to them. Their purpose there is to help student organizations. So make your proper use of them, and I'd also suggest for you guys to meet with your appropriations department in person and build a relationship with them, because a lot of students, what they do is they kind of keep communication with appropriations department over email. But if you go in person and you speak with them and you speak to them about the passion you have for AMSA, what you guys have planned to do, why you guys want to do this, and that'll just give them. That'll show them that you have this initiative, and it'll help you build a relationship with them to ensure that you get secured funding. And oftentimes building that relationship is where it'll come into it can come into play usefully. The third thing we have is for medical schools specifically, the diagnostic equipment sale. And again, Isaiah mentioned this before. It's a big fundraiser that med schools do through the medical store. And the student that organizes the fundraiser they'll get $100 as a free equipment for every $1,000 in sales, and it's up to $1,000 for $10,000 in sales, and it's only valid the first year of a fundraiser at a chapter that does not already have a sale with a medical store, and we can provide you guys with a link as well. And for pre-meds, we have our Kaplan course auctions. So our great partner with Kaplan, partnership with Kaplan, it gives us, a certain number of Kaplan courses, and you can get those course certificates based off of the size of your chapters. So if you have X amount of members in your chapter, then you are eligible for X amount of course certificates. And essentially, what you do is you can reach out to your local Kaplan representative, and then you can talk to them about that you're interested in fundraising, and then you can kind of mention these course certificates, and they will go ahead and check your size of your chapter, and then they'll confirm you for this. And then once you're confirmed for these, then you can basically auction them off to your local membership, or you can also raffle them away, which can get you very good local revenue for your local dues. And when I say raffle them away, I mean you can have a course certificate, and you can say, okay, we have a course certificate available, and you can put in $5 for every kind of for like a ticket to be in a raffle type of thing. And again, I was a past student brand ambassador for Kaplan. So if you do have any questions on how to get involved with this specifically, please let me know, and I can get you guys connected with the right people to get this going. And the last thing is that you can do tournaments such as dodgeball, bowling, or classics. Like a bake sale, or you can sell lemonade on the side, or fried chicken, whichever one floats your boat. Because I know everybody loves fried chicken, because I do too. The next thing we will talk about is our committees and our teams. And this is kind of concerning our local programming. So at AMSA, again, we have so many different ways that your chapter can get involved. There are a total of 9 committees, and in these committees, the chairs and the coordinators, they each implement national programming that's respective to their committee on a local and national level. So again, if you are a local chapter and you guys have a passion or an interest that lies in any one of these committees, you can get involved, and you can ultimately work with one of these committees together to make a change on not only a local level, but a national one as well. So to kind of step back and look at the overall bigger picture is that you want to make your college or medical school experience meaningful, and you want to develop yourself. So these action committees that are specific to your passion, these are just one of the many things that AMSA has to offer to help make that happen. So these are some of the action committees that we do have. I just kind of displayed on the slide. These are not all of them. You can check out our website to look at the rest of them. We have Global Health Committee, there's the Community and Public Health Committee, Medical Education Committee, and the Wellness and Student Life Committee. And Elisa is here on the chat. I know she's on the WSL, and she's awesome. So definitely reach out to any of these people who are on the action committees to get involved. And don't ever feel that there's a barrier on getting involved, or maybe I can't do this, or I won't have time. At least reach out and talk with somebody and get an idea of what you can do at a local level to help out. The next thing we got this is very awesome, and Isaiah mentioned this before too. It's the new position, and this is AMSA's own magazine that's primarily consisting of student content. It is bi-monthly. It's a bi-monthly magazine that's committed to exploring the social, political, and ethical issues of healthcare and medical education. It's really the point I want to emphasize on this slide is that when we look at getting published, we always look at it kind of maybe on a research side of things. Oh, we got to do research, and then we can get published this way. But with this new position, the TNP, you have the opportunity to get published in a national magazine just by expressing what you're passionate about. And I think that's a unique opportunity that not many other organizations have. So again, the TNP is a very, very good opportunity that we have for our local chapters. And if you guys do have any questions with regards to how to get involved with this, then please let us know. The next thing we got are our campaigns, and uh, this is actually how I got involved with National AMSA is through campaigns. Um, these campaigns have been going on for a very long time, and we've been able to make a big change through here. The first one we got is the AIDS Advocacy Network, and these guys advocate for all things that are HIV/AIDS related. And so again, this is how this specific campaign is how I got involved with is. I was junior, and it was my I was serving as president, and I wanted to do something different. And I was just learning about what AMSA was, and I came across these campaigns on the website, and I reached out to Dr. Allison Case, who was our education advocacy fellow at the time, and we I contacted her and I said I was very interested in getting involved with this campaign, but I had no idea where to start, and I had never had any experience in advocacy work, and so she was very very nice and very helpful in getting me started and helping me establish that our own kind of subcommittee type of thing at our local AMSA chapter, where we were able to start doing legislative visits, call-ins, advocacy through social media, and we were able to utilize our voice to make change. And specifically what we did was we were kind of advocating for increasing in fundings like for PEPFAR and the Global Fund. To combat HIV and AIDS, and also TB. That was that. I think when I got involved with this campaign, this really helped me understand what AMSA was and why AMSA. It helped me understand that my voice really actually does matter, and that I can utilize it to make change. And that as a physician, it's not just it's more than just the clinical. It's through these types of initiatives. It's through these types of extracurricular things that we these extra kind of extra things that we do. So that's just one of the campaigns, and the next one we have is Healthcare for All, and it's essentially it's just it's our campaign for universal healthcare, and it's something that we've had for a long time, and we collaborate with other organizations on this one. And AMSA with this campaign has been a strong advocate for single payer for a very long time. And also another thing Isaiah mentioned, this other one is the Just Medicine campaign, and this campaign specifically makes sure that our medical system puts patients above profits. And in this campaign, we really try going against things like directed advertising, or doctors getting money from pharmaceutical companies that can influence them to prescribe certain drugs, even if they might not be beneficial for the patient. And it ultimately this campaign focuses on the conflict of interest in medical education, and ensures that physicians are prescribing solely for the benefit of the patients, not for profit of pharmaceutical companies or profit for themselves. So again, some chapters they might have an officer or a committee that's dedicated to one of these campaigns, so they can update and they can get their local chapter, their local members involved. If you're looking for something to do as local membership, this is something you guys can get involved with. It's a great thing to get involved with as well. Ultimately, these campaigns, they're not something you need to get elected towards. You can just participate in them, and it's very very easy to get involved. Again, don't feel that there's a barrier to get involved with. It's a simple email away. It's a simple one email away, and then once you get in contact with the right person, your chapter will be doing so many great things on a local and national level. So just to kind of touch on some of our advocacy efforts that we have going on, we're focusing on healthcare reform, specifically single payer healthcare, women's health, where we are advocating for pro-choice advocacy, and LGBTQ health, where we are focusing on fighting trans discrimination. And again, if your passion lies in any one of these advocacy efforts, please contact our EAF, who is Dr. Daniel Gauger, and he is a wonderful person, and he will be more than happy to get you set up with however your chapter can help AMSA, fight on these issues. So yeah, the next slide we have is very very important. It's this slide to get involved, and the ways that you can engage your members is that you can join the listserv, all of our action committees, they have a listserv that is available that you can sign up for, that you'll get updates from them. And you can just click that listserv, and it'll give you all the links as to where you can sign up to get, to sign up for everybody, all the action committees listserv, and then you'll get these emails fed to your, to your inbox, where you can get updates on as to what's going on from these action committees. So that's very important. Please go ahead and join those listservs as soon as you end this. As soon as you end this, this PowerPoint. The next thing is you want to like our Facebook page, and also like each team, action committee team, and campaign Facebook page. Once you like these pages, and once you follow these pages, then you'll get connected more, and you'll get also constant updates with regards to, again, what's going on. And the next thing you can do is to stay involved is to contact us, contact national leadership. You can see all of the leadership on our website. You can see it's very organized in how we present it. So you can have this board of trustees. There's a list of contacts for them. RDs. There's a list of contacts for RDs. List of contacts for action committee chairs and coordinators and programming chairs. And so please make use of these. Screenshot it if you will. Screenshot it, or you'll have access to the presentation. But please make use of these and stay involved. The other thing you guys can do is you can email AMSA's Vice President for Programming, Ali Bukhari, and he is awesome, and he can also help you stay involved. All right, the next thing we have, which are very, very awesome, are our national events. And the first thing we got are scholar programs, and they begin in October, and they are they are situated online, and there are a variety of topics that are covered that are not covered in regular and medical and pre-medical curriculum. And this curriculum is taught by experts in the field, and they teach you how to go out and really make a true difference. And through these programs, these scholar programs, you have a chance to interact and learn from students and experts across the country on issues, again, that are very passionate to you. The second one we got is AMSA Pre-Med Fest, one of my second favorite, I guess. My first favorite is convention, which we will talk about soon. And it's going to be November 4th to 5th in Tampa, Florida, and it's designed to help pre-med students get into med school. It focuses on your growth as a student, person, and physician. And what's awesome about AMSA Pre-Med Fest is that, and AMSA conferences in general, is that they're all designed for students, and what they're really about is the joy of medicine, and getting excited about the future, and all the awesome stuff that's out there. And you'll have the chance to learn from experts and try things hands-on. And through these conferences, you really, really do feel reinvigorated about medicine in itself, and you meet the best of the best. The list of programming for this year still has to come, but some of the programming included last year were sessions on making the transition to medical school, getting your applications together, interview sessions, specifically how to craft your, there's a session specifically to how to craft your personal statement, and sessions on how to destroy your MCAT, and just so much more. So it's definitely a very good, opportunity for pre-meds. And again, if you guys are worried about finances, again, reach out to us, reach out to your appropriations department. And the earlier you guys reach out to your appropriations department, the better, because then you guys can make sure that you're on time and you're set to kind of get that funding that you need to help you get to Pre-Med Fest or any of our other events. The next thing we got are our AMSA fall conferences. And we got the next one will be coming up in October 21st to 22nd in Grenada, the West Indies, and it'll be hosted by St. George's University School of Medicine. These are more focused for medical students, they're still an awesome place for pre-medical students as well, to learn about current issues and hear inspiring stories, and to also build your clinical skills. And whenever you come to one of these conferences, you're always with the top of the top go-getters, because not a lot of people come to conference. Not many people come out to conferences out of their own time, out of their own schedule. So again, it's also a great way to network with some of the best students and future physicians in the nation. And my favorite event is our AMSA convention. This will be held on March 8th. It'll go through to the 11th in Washington D.C. And this is, in my opinion, the most exciting thing AMSA has to offer. We have brilliant keynote speakers who they come and speak with us about the important issues that facing medicine today. For example, last convention we had Lena Wen, who is the commissioner of health in Baltimore City, and she was also an AMSA past president. And she came and spoke to us. And additionally, we have so many breakout sessions where you have the ability to network and hone in on your clinical skills. You can participate in Sim Challenge and AMSA's annual project research exhibition, in interview skills sessions, and just so much more. And I will post kind of a link where you can look at the program events from last year. But ultimately, the biggest thing the AMSA convention helped me realize was that AMSA extends so much farther beyond my own local PreMed chapter, and that its mission extends so much further too across the nation. And during convention, I made so many meaningful friendships with some of the most motivated and kind and talented students in the nation and really around the globe. I swear, I met Yokaira for the first time over there. Another thing that I forgot to mention about AMSA convention is that we have Advocacy Day. Yes, yes, and at least I mentioned it right there. And during on Advocacy Day, what we do is we all rally to the Hill and we speak with our local representatives with regards to our the issues that we are advocating for. And it's just a great way to get experience. It's a great way to utilize your voice to make change. And that was the first time I was able to meet with a legislator in person, because the meetings that we did at AFCU were they were over the phone, so we did a phone conference type of thing. But when I came to DC, it was my first time being able to sit down face to face, with a representative, and it was just a great learning experience, and it just kind of fueled my fire to continue utilizing my voice to make a change. And none of that wouldn't be possible without convention, without AMSA. So yeah, again, I'm just so happy I got the opportunity to attend the convention, and I'm sure many of you guys will as well. And again, with regards to funding or anything, utilize your appropriations committee. Reach out to us if you guys need help, and we can kind of talk you guys through your options and kind of help you support you and help you guys get to convention, because it is an opportunity you definitely do not want to miss. So yes, and with that being said, I will go ahead and transition it on to Isaiah, who was, again, a VP of membership, and for our final thoughts. So thank you guys very much. It was a very pleasure to speak with you guys. And contact me, pre-meds, and if you're a med student, contact me too. It's okay. And you can reach Isaiah. He's probably your main point of contact. But another thing I did want to say about RDs, I forgot to mention it, is if your RDs have not contacted you yet, please shoot an email to either myself, Isaiah, or Yokaira. Introduce yourself, and we'd love to connect with you. That's what we're here for, is to connect and build relationships with you all. So again, with that being said, pleasure speaking with you guys, and goodbye for today.
So, hey everyone, thank you so much for staying with us on the call. I see that we have most of our attendees still, minus two, but I am so happy to have shared this information with you. And beyond that, I want to say that you will be getting this again in the YAMSA presentation that we will hopefully be doing on the virtual chapter visit. And as Bilal said, if you haven't heard from us, you will be hearing from us very soon. I know that the medical regional directors will be sending out emails within the next week. So if you are a medical chapter officer, I feel free to reach out, but you will be receiving a very detailed email from the regional directors, and then you'll be hearing from myself as well. I hope that you were able to gather a lot of inspiration from this PowerPoint, and I hope that you have a better understanding of why AMSA is the way it is, and why AMSA pursues the things that it does, and why AMSA is the way that it why AMSA is set up the way that it is. So I hope that you also have gathered some more information that you can present to others. I'm sure some of you may have been aware of some of the things that we do as an organization in terms of member benefits and things that we provide for you. So yes, the tangible and intangible. I hope that some of you now will consider running for national leadership positions. I hope to see some of you at our Building on Foundations next year. That's our national leader training. And I also hope to hear from you throughout the year and then see you at National Convention. Much like Bilal, National Convention is my favorite event of the year. That is the event that really got me immersed into AMSA. And I want to speak a little bit about the aspirations of AMSA. We are an organization, a progressive organization that seeks to provide equality in healthcare and equality in every other domain that somebody can think of, whether that's race, whether that's gender equality. We are here to advocate for our patients both in the clinic, outside of the clinic, and anywhere else that advocacy needs to take place because AMSA believes, we all believe, and I certainly believe, in order for us to be successful as we move forward in the future, as we move forward uh, as a country, that we must make sure that we are taking care of all of those around us. And if we are not able to make sure that we are taking care of the well-being of others and of ourselves, then it's going to be very hard for us to do our work as physicians. That is why AMSA has so many outlets for you to get involved. If there is something that you are passionate about and something that you want to get involved in, I guarantee you somewhere in AMSA it exists. And if it doesn't exist, then you can take it upon yourself to bring that to AMSA. So again, I hope that all of you have learned a lot. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope those of you that are back in school now, I hope school is going well for you, and I hope that those of you who are getting ready to head back to school, I wish you luck for the year, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a good night.